Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back with more Oscar-nominated things from years past that were also anime but did not win. I'm gonna find a shorter name for that. Perhaps, but probably not. We only got like another week of this afterwards. Anyway, when was Marnie there?
2014.
That is correct. Well done. But where was Marnie where?
Was it 2014 it was up for the Oscar? That's the year.
No. It was up for it in 2015. I mean, it always comes out the year after. But yeah. So 2014, this was one of the other animes that we didn't get to yet, but was also nominated for an Oscar. So this is a Ghibli movie, which I think Ghibli movies are most commonly the animes that are nominated. You know, that's politics and Disney connections and whatnot. Yeah, who's seen this before? I know we had a few people who had seen this before.
I've seen it.
I saw it.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I basically went on a marathon where I binged every other major film in Studio Ghibli's catalog that I didn't see. So that was on my list that I went through.
This was 2016
14.
Oh,
for the Oscar.
it might have come to the States in 2015.
No, it had to have come out in theaters in America in 2014 to be nominated for the 2015 thing. It had to
Went up against Shaun the Sheep, Anomalasia, The Boy in the World, and Inside Out.
Yeah. Inside Out won that year. We can talk a little bit later about where our thoughts are on that. But yeah, so I'm sorry. Am I the only one who hadn't seen this?
I also haven't seen
Oh.
it. I've been trying to say that.
Well, what did some of us newbies think at first? I'm not going first this time. You can't make me.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the movie. I don't know. I think I was expecting something else. I'm not really sure.
I had not seen it, but Kozi had described the plot to me in great detail previously.
When?
What do you mean? You do this, like, for everything.
This is your regular Saturday night.
The
I go
only
into
thing-
nothing blindly.
The only thing I told you before we watched this is it's going to be very gay-coded. Do not ship it.
Yeah, you said that, like, when the opening credits were rolling, but, like, in the last couple of years.
The thing is I remember, like, around the time when this first came out, and I had, like, this was before, like, it was in theaters, but there had been, like, a lot of trailers. I remember I had one friend who was shipping it, and this was before it was out, but the vibe was very weird, and I'm just like, why am I getting this very strange vibe? Why do I get the feeling like I'm not supposed to ship this, despite the fact that they're constantly saying they love each other?
Yeah.
I was kidding. I'm like,
I think I can explain that.
They're related, aren't they?
They have the same eyes.
They do, and they comment on it very early.
I don't think they were over the top, though, in, like, the scenes. I think the scenes were romantic coded because, like, they were technically memories taking place with someone else where
I understand
Anna was
that.
inserted into them.
I know. It's a very odd way to go about telling that part of the story.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
And, like,
So, Cece, what were your thoughts?
my thoughts were, so knowing the end, knowing this is not something I should ship, and being like, what? God, they're not making it easy for us.
Huh.
So I've been like trying to figure out how they could present this in a way that you wouldn't ship it. And I'm not quite sure I have a good answer for that. I think, like, any solid friendship, it's just natural instinct for us to ship it, especially, like, queer-coded stuff. Like, we're likely not going to get the queer relationship, so let's imagine, like, if it could happen.
I think it was also, like, beyond, like, friendship and being close. Like, it was how quickly they became so close. And also, they were like, you're my little secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was specifically the part, like, don't tell anybody about our friendship. This is a secret.
Like, that's so queer coded.
My other big thing was, I didn't realize this until I saw Chibi on Goodreads earlier, but apparently this was a book from like the 60s.
1967.
67.
Oh.
Haha, 6'7".
Jesus.
42.
And Howl was also a novel. So, like,
Yes,
how
it
many
was.
Ghibli movies are novels?
Boy and the Heron's also a novel.
Tales of
It's all,
Earthsea,
like,
also a novel. At least a few of like the ones that are like later, they're
a
novels.
lot of it aren't direct adaptations.
No.
But
They have
still.
Ghibli flavoring. I mean, Ponyo's The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Arrietty was based on The Borrowers.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I never watched Arrietty, but I loved The Borrowers as a kid. And watching the trailers for it, I was
It's
like,
much
this does
different.
not feel like The Borrowers.
I feel like Arrietty takes a lot of the whimsy away.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Interesting thought, because that's the same director as the one who directed this.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and there's other books too, like Kiki was a book first, and then it
Mhm.
became a movie, and
Yeah, he's got quite a backlog of books that are actually like, that he's adapted.
Is Arrietty worth giving a watch?
It is.
I liked
liked it.
Yeah. I just don't think you should go in expecting like the same vibe as The Borrowers. It's not really like that kind of comedic whimsy
No,
type
yeah.
thing. Like, it
Very
is-
different.
Its core is at the relationship between Arrietty and I want to say his name is John for some reason. I don't think that's right.
I mean, John was probably what it was in the book, but I don't think that's what it is.
yeah, you're way off. It's Show.
Show.
Yeah, you're way off. It's Show.
What if Sho is the John of Japanese?
Maybe.
It could be. Yeah, I've always that was the first Ghibli movie I was like aware of because they were playing the commercials for it on Disney Channel because it had like
Bridget Mendler.
Bridget Mendler,
Mhm.
David Henry in it.
Fuck the Mitchell Musso.
Mitchell Muso's in it too.
I'm pretty sure.
And I was like, this isn't The Borrowers. I don't want to see this. But maybe I will have to like remove it from the books. Watch it as its own thing. That's probably Patreon content though.
Maybe. So, Kozi, I got a little bit of beef with you. I did not appreciate that last week you said, hey, don't ship this. And then I immediately, as soon as the movie started, I'm like, okay, now why would she say that? And then it started, and at about, 8 minutes in, I was like, I called what the ending was going to be.
Yeah.
Listen,
And I was like,
look,
I'm not saying I wouldn't have figured it
to go
out.
through the movie shipping it,
And
then you're like, oh, gross.
Here's the
no.
thing. I'm never going to know. And I'm also never going to know if I would have figured it out on my own, which I feel like is very possible. I am really good at calling a lot of stuff.
I feel like it was kind of obvious.
I mean, at the very
Yeah.
least, it's obvious she's a ghost.
Yeah, and like the
Yeah.
eye thing, I don't know. The way that they mentioned that, it's kind of like easy to tell early on, like they're related. I didn't know like what relation, but I guess that they were related in some way. Like I just didn't know how far back.
I think my first guess was mom, but then we saw the house and I was like, oh, this is like the 1920s. Maybe it's her grandma.
Yeah.
So, like, I assumed Marnie had, like, died as, like, a young child my first go-around.
Hmm.
Like, maybe this was, like, a distant relative, you know?
I might have thought that as well. I'll never know, though. Will I?
Okay, well, at least you didn't ship a grandma and grandchild, so you're welcome.
Hey, great, but also like, let me figure things out. How am I going to learn if I can't figure things out on my own? You can't baby me forever, Kozi.
I will say I did not remember all of the details when Kozi described it to me. Like, I remembered the grandma thing. I did not remember which one was the grandma. And
Oh, that would have been a really weird twist. Marnie's grandma all along.
yeah,
Wow.
she was I was like, is it a ghost or is she visiting her from the future? I can't tell.
No.
So the
This is
future
not.
went back like 80
Guys,
years to the past.
The possibilities that we would have 2 Mamoru Hosoda movies in a row for the Oscars, I don't think that would happen.
No, Granny just really wants to be forgiven for leaving Anna all alone.
I do think you might have conflated it a bit with your name, because I want to say when you were describing it, you were talking about how, like, they were going between timelines to meet.
That's definitely your name. This one is more like they're in between-ish.
Yeah.
Feels
No, I'm saying
like-
when you were originally describing it, you were talking about how, like, they were going back and forth between their timelines. I think you might have been conflating it with your name.
Well, I didn't realize until this watch through, honestly, that, like, she wasn't going back in the past at all. This was, like, a completely separate, like, angel space. I don't know how to describe what Marnie did there.
I think
Like, this...
what's going on, and I think, like, sometimes you see this in some sort of, like, possession and ghost movies, which gives me a sinister vibe that I
yeah.
knew they were not going to go with, is, like, the idea of, like, the person who's interacting with the ghost who doesn't realize it's a ghost is losing time, or, like, showing up in random places that they don't remember going to initially. And with the dream sequence and stuff, it made me think, like, this girl is just going and standing and staring at, like, a house for, like, 8 hours. And in her head, she's, like, interacting with this person.
She's not staring at the house. She's drowning in the marsh.
Yeah,
Hey,
she's
that's a possibility,
passed out
too.
on some street.
Yeah.
So, the thing that there is a name for that, it's called residuals.
Yeah.
That's basically where, like, such energy has left such an impression that basically whatever used to be there is essentially, like, there in, like, a memory.
Yeah, it's like an emotional ghost.
Yeah.
Which side tangent, I think I need to see it, but I think Guillermo del Toro's first feature-length film was essentially a ghost movie about residual energy and stuff like that. So I might need to look into that. It's like a haunted house, but, like, it's only just the memories of what was.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think that scene leading up to the silo actually looked like to, like, Sayaka, who was seeing it from a completely outside perspective?
I think she saw the weird girl that she liked talking to was walking up to the silo by herself and just acting weird. But hey, it's the weird girl, so she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, because up until the point Sayaka called out, I'm pretty sure her and Marnie were, like, holding hands and, like, doing the march up.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Marnie just sort of kept going, and she fell behind.
So, like, was Anna just walking around with her hand out like she was grasping something?
Like in Surgeon
probably-
Simulator.
I'm gonna say yes.
I mean, she's been there for, like, what, 2-3 weeks? She just met this girl, she's like, oh, you're the weird one. Yeah, she's just the weird girl being weird.
I mean, they're both kind of weird.
Can I say they're also, like, what, 12 and probably, like, 10 or something?
Yeah.
Kids are weird,
definitely
man.
12.
Kids are weird.
I think that's the number one thing I say is, like, this is definitely, like, a movie about kids, because I'm like, anyone else would have figured out this was a ghost. Like,
Yeah.
called it very early on.
Like, the diary and everything. Like, why was she denying this?
And she's like, oh, I guess I
Besides-
imagined it. The book's in your hand, girl.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, because besides the silo scene, she wasn't really, like, anywhere she didn't remember.
So the thing is, I think, and I was reading up a little bit on the book, I think the silo scene comes before they actually start reading the diary. So I think, like, all of that happens, and then Sayaka, whose name in the book is Scylla, basically they are reading over this diary and they're learning about Marnie's past, and they kind of are like, oh, so this is what was going on.
Yeah, I think Chibi, since you have done some research, this was based on a real life location, I think. Isn't that
It was
correct?
like Norfolk, in England.
So, like, the silo and the marsh house, like, those were real locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it being colonial Japan adds a certain way to the story, though.
A little bit.
Maybe we should describe the plot, because we must sound insane to anybody that hasn't seen this.
Marnie's era was colonial Japan. Like, that is when Westerners were coming in.
I felt
Marnie's era was World War I Japan, and then she lived through World War II, and I want to say this still probably takes place in 1967.
It's very possible. I think we were even talking like, well, when is this set? It looks modern enough, but then I was like, okay, well, hold on. We got to see if they have cell phones or not, because that's usually a great indication nowadays of when a movie might be set.
They did not.
We only
They
saw
were-
them use the house line.
Yeah,
Well, they were also sending letters,
that's true.
too.
But I don't know about Japan. They might just still do that every now and then.
Japan was definitely more technologically advanced.
Even out in the sticks?
Even out in the sticks, yeah. I think we would have seen a cell phone if this was more
Well, even at
modernish.
that, like, I didn't really see any televisions anywhere.
You know who we really needed? We needed Kun to tell us what that train was at the beginning of the movie, because that would have told us exactly
When did
when
that
it would have
train
been.
run?
Wait, so if the book is set in the 60s, we can assume it's in the 60s, right?
I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah,
That being said,
so
you can
then-
adapt something anytime.
And the grandma's from the 20s, so that lines up.
Yeah.
Particularly with how they were dressed.
Mm-hmm. Should we say what the plot is?
Yes.
Cool. So Anna is a depressed asthmatic who has social anxiety and is also has a foster mom, and she needs to go out to the country and
dad.
get some fresh air. And,
There
and a
are-
dad, but he's
It
not.
is a foster mom and dad, but
But he's not in the
dad
movie.
sucks.
He's overseas for work because it's anime, and they go. I think it's her aunt and uncle that she's going to stay with.
It-
Mhm.
And
it's her foster aunt and uncle.
Yes.
Like,
wasn't sure.
no direct blood relation, like, all of her blood family has fucked out of the picture.
yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how much she had to begin with.
There's a scene of them arguing over it at the
Yeah,
funeral.
okay, yeah, that's true. But yeah, so she's out there and she's like just trying to recuperate a little bit, get some fresh air, get out of the city a little bit, and she meets Marnie, a local girl who is not of this world. She's not of this plane of existence. That's the plot twist later. There's a house. Everyone says it's haunted. She does not connect to that because Marnie's her friend, and she's nice to her, and they have a nice little getting to know each other bit, and then she's a ghost, and it's kind of hard to talk about this from like one end to the other because it's like it's so very early on. I was like, that's a ghost. You are hanging out with a ghost. You might be possessed by a ghost. I'm hearing some music cues that say that she might be trying to take away your life force. I don't know.
I mean, I think pretty immediately we see that the Marsh house is abandoned, but then when she is actually able to interact with Marnie, it's no longer in disrepair.
Yeah.
So, like, at the very least, we knew we were no longer on the same timeline.
Or at the very least, one of them wasn't. Ooh. But the kid, she's a kid, so she has no idea.
I genuinely believe she thought she was making it up in her head, because if you think about when she woke up, she was always, like, at home still.
Yeah.
Waking up in
Yeah,
her
at least
own
at
bed.
first. Yeah.
But again, when you find the diary with the name in it, you don't piece together that something has to be real. Unless you think that this is a dream. Perhaps all of life is just an illusion that you're just walking through. She's eventually going to believe that the world is just a simulation.
So, when I first watched this, I kind of fully believed, like, the timelines were doing some weird funky shit where, like, they merged together and that's how the girls were actually meeting. And, like, Anna was, like, actually taking part in the past in some way. And it all stemmed from the diary talking about how there was a flower girl at the party, which was the role Anna took. And I did not put it together until, like, this watch through that. She wasn't filling in the role of Kazuhiko, she was filling in the role of the friend, Hisako.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, like, my brain fully convinced, like, the timelines had merged.
I mean, we've been watching sci-fi lately a little bit. I can understand that, but this does not give sci-fi so much as, like, a Nancy Drew novel, perhaps.
A little bit.
I just thought that was, like, the Ghibli whimsy,
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have been a cooler story for Marnie to have been like, oh shit, I met my granddaughter when I was a child. Instead of what we got, which is hey, sorry I'm too depressed to live, quite literally. You're on your own, kid. I need you to forgive me so I can move on.
Yeah.
I don't know that she did. I think Chibi might have had it right on the money of this is residual energy left over from her own childhood kind of thing.
No,
But she still is asking Anna to forgive her at the end because she left her all alone. And it's not just she left her all alone in the silo, it's because she left her all alone as a child when she died.
When she's talking to Anna about why she left her in the silo, she's like, I'm sorry you just weren't there. Like, acknowledging, like, that was not how it happened in the past. She needed her forgiveness to move on. That's why she's like, I can't stay here anymore. I need to go.
Envy and Yin, you guys have both seen this. Where are you guys on this? I haven't heard a lot from you guys yet.
You want to go first, Jen?
I can. I don't know. I kind of felt the same about this time as I did before. I think the story is pretty okay, but the execution leaves me underwhelmed. I don't know. I just feel like it's Miyazaki light, and I feel this way about all of this director's works. I feel like he just does the Studio Ghibli thing, but not in a very interesting way. And I could just imagine this being better if Miyazaki did it, or better if the director just had his own vision and did his own thing. But I don't know. I just don't particularly like this director. I feel like the magical elements weren't interesting or magical enough. And it relied on this mystery that was too easy to figure out. And I just feel like everything hinges on that. And like nothing else came together in a way that really worked for me. So I don't know. It feels like it was supposed to like surprise me or something, and it just didn't. I think the animation, everything's pretty, but once again, I don't feel like there was anything, like any iconic images or anything I would normally expect from like a Ghibli film. I don't know. It's just not very memorable to me. And I just feel like sometimes Studio Ghibli, and I think we already might have talked about this, or maybe I talked to Al about this. Sometimes Studio Ghibli, it seems like they do want to keep everything kind of homogenous and Miyazaki-like. But then some of their best stuff is like Princess Kaguya, like we talked about before, where it's like that's totally different. And I kind of wish they would do more of that. So I'm always kind of disappointed to see movies like this that just feel like, okay, you're just trying to be Miyazaki. So I don't know. I thought it was overall just, I guess, mediocre. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie, but I don't think it's a particularly interesting one either.
It didn't feel like there was any passion in it.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a little hollow to me. I don't know, but I feel like there was something there. Like, there could have been something really memorable about it, but the execution just fell flat to me.
I feel like this could have been like a really good movie if they had maybe been able to devote some more time to it, because we don't even meet Marnie until I think a third of the way through.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm glad you brought up the director, because why the fuck did he keep replaying that one dance scene? They did it like 4 times.
I don't know.
And that already took place like halfway through the movie. And it's only like, what, an hour and 20 minutes?
Hour 40, I think.
Okay, an hour and 40. So like 70 minutes in, and then in the last 70 minutes, we replayed a scene that took place at the 70-minute mark, like 4 separate times.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go back and play it just once over again, that's fine. But not 2 times more. That's
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what the impact was supposed to be there besides, why is this scene playing again?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw
And
out
that's
there.
like kind of how I felt about a lot of things in this movie, was just that it was supposed to have an impact that it just didn't have on me. I don't know, like it wanted me to feel something that it wasn't making me feeling.
that, I will say, is exactly how I felt during the entirety of watching the movie. Unfortunately.
Is that why you weren't sure how to say what you were feeling?
Yeah, because I'm like, I did not feel anything, which I'm like, I was normally hoping to feel something, but I didn't feel anything. I barely felt bad for Anna. You didn't make me feel for your character. You're not doing your job.
I mean,
Sorry.
they had a chance to make us feel for Anna, and then they threw it in the trash when she looks at someone trying to be friendly with her. She's like, you fat pig!
That was so
Yeah.
bad, man.
I will say.
I was
That
like,
felt so
whoa.
out of character. I'm like, where did this come from?
Very mean, very
then, like-
unnecessary, but I will say this.
And the girl even offered to bury that.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, you know what? That was really mean. That was hurtful. But we'll get over it. We'll still be friends. She's like, fuck you!
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's one of the points where I'm like, yep, that's a 12-year-old right now.
That I also thought that too, but I was just
It is, but I feel like maybe it's a Ghibli film, so like it is marketed a little bit younger, but like, how are you supposed to connect with that as an adult?
I just also felt like, I do agree with the out of character thing, because it felt like she was quiet most of the time. She didn't lash out at people, and then all of a sudden she's like insulting this girl. I would have thought she would have just like run away. Or I don't know, it didn't set her up to be like that.
I think it's a situation of you have a clearly introverted character who has a lot of anxiety, a lot of things going on, and I think it was the end of what was probably a pretty long day of having to be around so many people that she kind of snapped a little bit.
I get it. I just...
They could have set it up, though. They could have set that up way better, especially because she snapped specifically around them commenting that she had blue in her eyes, just pointing out her foreigner blood in Japan. Like, that could have been a great setup!
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like they didn't touch on that enough before. Like, that was the first time they mentioned her eyes, I think. And it's like, if they would have set it up more, I do think it could have worked. Like, her snapping could have worked.
Especially because, like, that would have been a great reason for her to feel othered in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, mixed children in Japan get a lot of fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, someone pointing that out and being like, oh, everyone come look. Like, that could have worked. Where was any of the setup to it?
Yeah, I mean, it might go back to... Because this was written and directed by the same guy who I think you've been calling him kind of just Miyazaki light.
That's how I feel about him. It's just a personal opinion. I don't know. He did Arrietty, I think.
He did Arrietty. He did
Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Yeah.
And I just think all those movies are kind of similar in that they're just all sort of like passionless Miyazaki projects.
Well, technically, Mary and the Witch's Flower was a new studio that he helped form.
Well, I think he still wanted to make it like Ghibli, just his own Ghibli. I don't know, it felt similar.
I love that movie. I do love that movie, but yeah, it is a Studio Ghibli film, just from a different studio.
Is actually so hilarious because this has to be like someone who trained under Miyazaki like pretty extensively.
Yeah, he did.
For how much shit Miyazaki gave his own son about, you just want to rip me off. Go get your own thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure just about every film this guy worked on was a Ghibli thing, either as like an animator, assistant, animation director, key animation, all this sort of stuff. It's like Ghibli. I'm just looking at his thing right now. I think there's like one or two things here that are not on there, but it's like 90% Ghibli. And then also Serial Experiments Lane.
No, I'm saying like he had to be very close with Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah. I think that like not a lot of people other than Miyazaki and the other founders of the studio really get a whole lot of things. This guy got like 2 or 3 films. So I'm like,
and it's
Miyazaki
just like to me, it's very funny that we have this very blatantly soulless, like, I'm just doing this because this is like Ghiblifying the movie in the way Miyazaki would have done, from like someone who we could probably assume apprenticed under him at some point.
Oh yeah.
And then his actual son, his flesh and blood, who he treated like shit because he's like, you just want to copy me.
I find it interesting because I've looked up like Goro's stuff. He really doesn't have any credits other than just directing the Ghibli movies. I'm like, did he just start at that point? Was he an animator on anything else? Did he do anything? Like, I'm not sure. And yet I also really like Up on Poppy Hill, which I think is a really good movie. So
I needed Miyazaki to direct some of that energy, I guess, at the people under him. Like, get your own fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just gonna be me forever.
But I don't think that they thought like that, because I brought this up every time Mamoru Hosoda's on. They didn't want him doing Howl after pre-production because they were like, it's not Miyazaki enough.
Yeah, they wanted the whole studio to be Miyazaki.
I think the only reason, like, for example, Tales of Princess Kaguya does not feel like a Miyazaki movie because it's not. And it was one of the other founders of the studio who was his peer. He can't really be like, be more like me to someone who's like, no, you're my equal. I can't, like, force my style on you.
I just want to know what the thought process was there, because he was so adamant that his own child did not follow in his footsteps. Why the fuck would he allow the entire studio under him to do that?
I don't know.
Especially because his son was part of the studio. So, like, if you're directing the rest of the studio, like, this is how I do it, this is how I want it done, why would you then go after your son and be like, you little fuckhead?
Oh, no.
He just has a lot of animosity towards his kid.
Man, I don't know. I feel like you could argue like it. Trying to understand almost any artist is kind of almost impossible on some level.
I feel like this would have been better if he had directed some of that energy at this director specifically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I kind of think he got a couple projects like as a director though, because maybe he was enough like him that he's not gonna like give him shit for it. Also, where did this rank in terms of Miyazaki's, oh, I'm retiring, this is my last movie? I think The Wind Rises came out around 2014. It came out the year before this.
Yeah, Wind Rises came out in 2013 in Japan, and this movie came out in 2014 in Japan. So technically this film was in production when Miyazaki made his retirement, quote unquote. So it was already they initially made this film to be the final Studio Ghibli film, but then obviously that changed years later when they made The Boy and the Heron.
Wait, was Ghibli supposed to like shut down?
Yes. At the time.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, at the time, Ghibli was going to shut down after The Wind Rises and this film came out. They did a joint production film of a film called The Red Turtle, which was really good. It came out in 2016, and then they also did that Earwig and the Witch, or whatever it was called, that TV movie that Goro made. But they didn't really expect to make a fully fledged 2D movie again. But then obviously Miyazaki came back out of retirement again to make The Boy and the Heron.
He had to save anime.
You know what? Maybe they should have let it die, honestly. Maybe they should have let it die.
I don't understand, like, the reasoning behind shutting down an entire studio simply because your main guy is going into retirement. Like,
well, I mean,
you all have enough experience at this point. Try something else. Do something original.
I feel
Put
like,
your brains together.
I feel like we've talked about this. They did not do that for so long that they didn't have anyone with anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like this and
Look,
the
give Goro
the Witch movie,
another shot or two. I don't know.
Like, this kind of proves like they really can't stand without Miyazaki.
Ugh.
Can I say what I thought about the movie?
Absolutely. I don't know why you wait. You can always jump in.
You know I don't like doing that when everyone's talking all at once and debating.
Well, maybe I'm trying to make you, like, comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Well, I'm in the minority again because I really enjoyed this movie a lot. I was deeply impacted, and it's not in my top 10 of Ghibli films, but I still give it a 9 on Mal. I really enjoyed it a lot. There.
Oh, no, I enjoy it. I think it could have been more.
I think this is one of those things of like, yeah, this is not the strongest Ghibli film. It's still a Ghibli film, and I'm hard-pressed to find a bad one.
Yeah, you haven't said your opinion either, Al.
Oh, I've said my opinion that Kozi shouldn't give me spoilers anymore, but look, I will say this. A lot of this was painted by me, like, immediately being like, that's a ghost. I gotta make some jokes here and there about how the kid can't figure out it's a ghost. I will say this, though. I got a little misty-eyed at the end with the stuff where we were, like, actually seeing what happened and what the grandma's life was and all that and that. And, okay, I'm also going to say this. I don't know what everybody watched, sub, dub, or what it is.
Dubbed. I watched dub with every Ghibli film that I can. So,
in the last, I think it might be a little more than a week ago, whenever this comes out, Catherine O'Hara passed recently, and she was old Marnie, and that kind of got me a little bit. It's like, that's... Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the Ghibli dubs usually, because of the Disney connections, they usually always have good dubbing.
Yeah, and this is no exception. I was surprised, because it's like, they usually just get celebrity voice actors or whatever. Gray Griffin is in this in a prominent role. I'm like, oh my god, an actual voice actor.
Yeah.
Not that people do bad,
Yeah.
but like it's. I feel like it's rare for them to like bring in people who
Yeah.
are like known for voice acting
Wait.
and not for other stuff.
Who was he?
Gray Griffin was the ant. Gray Delisle? I don't know what
Oh.
you remember her name as, but she's gone a couple different ways.
Yeah.
No, I didn't clock that at all.
Because she's a voice actor and she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
I feel like John C. Reilly as the uncle is very obvious, though. So
Yeah. And I don't know if you caught it, but a young Haley Steinfeld was Anna.
yep.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was a few years after she did True Grit, so
Yeah.
like she was, I think, a teenager at the time.
Had to be.
I think I'm used to Gray Griffin doing like younger people.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I am also, I will say, I am used to like normally teenage voices from Grey Griffin as well. So
Look, man, we all know she's got range. But yeah. I think the voice cast did pretty
She
well.
was
in this.
nice. She was too nice.
You just want her to be Vicky or Azula, don't you?
She's played
No,
good characters before.
I thought I recognized her as like new age Daphne more than anything.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And I didn't know who voiced new age Daphne.
Yeah.
The more you know. But yeah, I think I enjoyed this overall. Look, are we comparing it to Spirited Away, my favorite one? No, we're not comparing those. But it's good.
I have a question for you, Al.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you mean to line up the two movies about like childhood neglect?
Bruh,
wow.
I told you how we decided this. There were 3 left, and we're going in reverse chronological order of when they were nominated.
Yeah, and we had to pick anime films that were nominated for Best Picture. So
Next week it will be Shrek, though. Don't worry.
our choices were limited.
It said Shaun the Goat was one. We could have done
Shaun
No,
the
I can't
Sheep.
even-
Okay,
Shaun
let's
the Sheep.
Shaun
I'm sorry.
the
on the go.
On the sheet. That's not anime.
Listen, I know the goat's
It's
coming out
animated.
soon if it's not already in theaters, but
So, okay, do we want to talk about 2015's Academy Awards? When Marnie
Yeah.
was there, Shaun the Sheep movie, Boy in the World, Anomalisa, and Inside Out. Inside Out obviously won.
And I'm gonna be honest, I liked Inside Out more than this film. I think Inside Out deserved to win personally.
I haven't heard of any of those other movies. I didn't know there was a Shaun the Sheep movie.
There's a sequel that I think is nominated pretty recently.
Boy in the World is good. It's very abstract. I'm surprised that got nominated.
I mean, sometimes...
I saw some of the.
Yeah.
I know Disney Channel used to air the Shaun the Sheep shorts as a kid on Disney Channel. That's how I saw it
Yeah.
originally. But
I
they
used
just
to watch that when I was sick.
I don't remember...
Oh,
They
shit.
just decided.
I don't remember Shaun
Boy
the
in
Sheep.
the World was Brazilian. No wonder it didn't win. Brazil gets like no respect in the animated field.
I mean, they're starting to get some South American countries are starting to get a couple more things out there that are starting to get a little bit of notice online, but, you know, it might change in the coming years. But yeah, not been easy for them in the past. So we're saying we're fine with Inside Out taking that year, though?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Emotional impact, way more.
Also cultural impact. How like common is the phrase core memory now?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that was a thing before
Yeah, I thought
Inside
that
Out.
was already a
Is that a
thing.
psychological term?
I would say yes,
think it
but
exists.
also I feel like that brought it more into the general conscious.
Hmm. That's very possible. I'll just say this: the Bang Bong, right? Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
that still gets me a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say the year before this, the 2014 Academy Awards, Big Hero 6 over Tales of Princess Kaguya. How could you? But
I honestly agree with that, but we can fight over
What?
that years ago. I liked Big Hero 6 a lot.
Big
know
Hero
that
6,
people
I'm not
don't
saying
like
Big
it.
Hero 6 is bad, but over Tales of Princess Kaguya.
No, I do think because Princess Kaguya, like the actual impact on that would be limited to people understanding the actual tale of Princess Kaguya, which is not very forthcoming in the movie.
I don't agree with that. I didn't really know the tale very well until I saw the movie.
Look, to me, it's a political win because it's Disney connected more than anything else. I thought the Princess Kaguya was such a better movie.
No, bro, I agree with you. I think Princess Kaguya is way better. Big Hero 6 is good.
CC's over here vehemently shaking their head.
Big Hero 6 is good, but like
I didn't say
Princess
it was
Kaguya
bad.
is better to me.
Yeah, look. Sometimes sometimes for the awards, it's like we have an abundance of riches here, but only one can win, and sometimes the right one doesn't exactly win. It happens. That's what I'm
I
saying.
also feel like Big Hero 6 had a much larger global impact.
Probably. That is
It
probably true.
It definitely resonated across the world a lot more than a very specific myth from Japan did.
I mean, we can debate which movie was better than not. I just think the worst year for the nominations was 2017 because Boss Baby and Ferdinand getting nominated, but Your Name and A Silent Voice not getting nominated.
Actual crime.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing too. If I had to pick between A Silent Voice, Your Name, and Coco, which was the winner,
That's
I would
tough.
probably pick A Silent Voice. I would pick A Silent Voice personally, but I can also understand giving it to Coco because Coco is fantastic. It made me cry. But I would rather have had that decision come down to those three films and not Boss Baby.
Yeah.
I'm still a Your Name guy, but I would not have been sad with a Coco.
I don't understand how Mirai got into the same bracket,
I mean,
but
I-
Your Name or A Silent Voice didn't.
I don't know. I don't know.
It was
I
the
don't
year after,
Like-
so who it was competing against was going to be different. But
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I think it's a little surprising to me because Your Name was so much more popular. So I would have expected it to get nominated over some of the others like Mirai.
I will throw out there that I know that to get the nomination in on time, they had to do like a late premiere, like late into 2016 in America to get it nominated. It was like shown
And it
once.
did. And it did. It
yeah.
was at an LA Film Festival in December 2016, so it could have been nominated.
It
Your
could
Name.
have been, but I think by then there was a lot of people who probably like already chose what they were going to pick and just didn't bother to look at it.
But the nominations don't come out until January.
It really
so
doesn't matter.
that-
They a lot of people lock in by December.
I don't think December 2016 Your Name had quite exploded on the global market like it did.
No, it
here's the thing too: the Academy Awards never really taken the box office that much anyway, or the global impact. They're always artsy and fartsy, what up their own ass.
Listen. I don't have time, but I could go into a whole thing about how the Academy Awards has changed over the years, and it started with The Deer Hunter, how it became less about what was a popular movie and what was a good movie, and what movie needs boosted for the studio in aftermarket like theater sales to recoup losses. There's a whole thing about that you can see the trends of whatnot, because like, okay, would you have ever expected Jaws to be up for Best Picture in today's climate?
No.
But
genre films hardly ever get nominated.
But
so.
it was up for Best. It did not win, but it was up for Best Picture.
I mean, I feel like it makes sense though. Wasn't it a Spielberg movie?
Oh, it was
Yes.
like his second.
It was
movie?
early Spielberg though. Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But
that
he wasn't
big of a name.
Spielberg yet. It was the thing that put him on the map.
Yeah.
There's a whole like 3-hour Patreon content podcast that I could talk about this with. I don't have the time here. I am sorry, but if you guys want to talk about that another time, let's do it.
Let's start a Patreon. I should start writing down all these times. I'm like, this is Patreon content, and then we'll have like a whole list.
You know what?
To
Yeah.
discuss
You know what?
from.
At a certain point, let's just stream like some stuff where it's just like, all right, just do random thoughts of Patreon content.
I
Anywho.
still wish we could do like a counter. It's definitely way too much to put on your plate, Al, but
No, yeah.
just like a counter of every time we get sidetracked into Patreon content.
I don't know.
I feel like we would have to do that at least a couple times an episode.
I would not
Well-
be able to have a regular job if we did that.
Well,
But
get
we
one
would
of
be
our
getting paid because it's Patreon.
get one of our regular commenters to go through all our videos. BioPhoenix, you go through through every one of our videos that we've ever done, and whenever we go off topic, you put a counter.
I'll do it. I
Yeah.
was already doing that. And then TikTok shut me down.
Yeah.
Damn.
Go to Instagram or something. I don't know.
You have the Instagram.
Then tell me to do something with it, man. What do you want?
Multiple people can be logged in.
I really want
Instagram.
I want you guys to think for a minute. Do you think I know what I'm doing with social media?
No.
I
don't.
let me tell you.
That's why CC tried to take it over.
Look, let me tell you what my mindset is. And I don't mean to sound like an ass about this. I just want to make stuff, put it out there, and never interact with anyone.
That's why we don't even own the Discord.
Guys, I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to interact with fans or something, but it's just a thing of like, I don't know. You know what? Again, Patreon content. You need to look up Tchaikovsky and like what his whole situation, because he was one of the first composers
like the musician?
Yes, the music, the guy who wrote all the symphonies and stuff, the Russian guy. He was one of the first people to have like a patron who was just like, I'm gonna give you money, just make music. And her whole thing was, I never want to meet you. I don't want to ruin this. Oh just make amazing music, and we're gonna like write letters to each other like twice a week. and for the most part, yeah, he kept to that. Until like there was just a random time where they were both at the same party, and like they saw each other, immediately looked at each other, turned around, and just walked in the other directions. It was like,
God, what a mood.
It's kind of insane. Like, honestly, the story about her, her life was kind of wild. And, like, look her up if you have a little bit of time.
That is very unusual for a patron. Like, normally they had, like, whoever they were sponsoring living with them.
Yeah, that was the thing that occurred, especially, like, later on. But he was one of the first, like, musicians to have, like, a full-time patron and fully, like, pay all of his, like, rent and everything else just so he could do that. He didn't have to take on, like, music students and a bunch of other things. Which is why it was, like, kind of out of the ordinary, and you see like other people later on doing other kind of stuff, but that sounds fantastic.
CC has opened a Google Doc. I'm afraid.
All right, you know what? It feels like we are so off topic at this point. There's no point in continuing.
We are.
I give this overall a light yay. It's not the best Ghibli movie, but it's a Ghibli movie, and that's pretty good. So you're gonna get something out of it.
I'd give it a meh. I don't think it was a bad movie by any means, but it doesn't have a huge impact on me either, so it's just kind of in the middle for all the reasons I mentioned before.
Yeah, I would probably give this generally a meh, maybe a bit of a low meh, mostly just because, and I don't want to compare it to other Ghibli movies, but what this story is trying to tell should have a larger emotional impact on me than it did. And I think execution just wasn't there with how it was trying to go about telling me the story. So I really think they needed to work on this a little bit more.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I give it a yay. Like I said, I enjoyed it, and yeah, I had a. It's kind of weird to say I had a good time, but I had a good time watching it. I enjoyed it, and I was able to probably tell the twist, towards the second half of the movie, but I still was impacted by it. And yeah, I give it a yay.
Yeah, this is a yay for me. I thought it was pretty. Story is fine. No complaints. Few complaints.
Like, yay.
Not no complaints. I take that back. Few complaints.
I'm like a light yay here. Like, it's good. It's Ghibli. Like, you're not going to be disappointed. I feel like you will be relatively, like, locked in and entertained. It has a bit of an emotional oomph to it. It could have had more. Like, I wish it had, like, an additional hour of runtime. Because I feel like connection with the characters to really feel like what they wanted us to.
All right. Well, we got one more movie for this month because we're saving the last week of our stuff for what we've been watching and what we've been doing kind of things. So next week is The Wind Rises, the final film from Hayao Miyazaki until he decided, nope, I need another one. And we'll see what happens from there. Is he working on something again, or is he like, I'm done?
Well, they actually did an interview with him or one of his producers a couple months ago, and he pretty much said that even though he's about to turn 90, he still hasn't retired. So,
Hey
yeah.
man, Mel Brooks is going to be 100 this year. He's still
I
going.
can't remember. This did come out, I think, like our first or second year in college. Did we watch this in club?
2013.
Okay.
Yes, we eventually did. We watched it in one of our
Okay.
Miyazaki movie marathons when it came out on streaming or
Yeah.
DVD.
It was
We
Streaming
watched
wasn't
it, but
back
you might
then.
not have been there because I was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I don't think CC started coming to club until you.
Yeah, I know
weren't
I
really there
watched it
anymore.
independently, but I do remember us all talking about this coming out.
We did watch
I
it.
don't know what
yeah.
anime fan at the time wouldn't have been talking about this coming out. We all thought it was the end. Okay, so we can discuss this a little bit more next week after we rewatch the movie. Maybe it'll bring back memories of what we remembered from the times. Who knows? We'll find out then. We'll see you guys there. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!